2GB News Talk 87. Entry in the Pater Awards. Category 14B, the best news team. Over the past year, 2GB News has been responsible for breaking, developing and updating some of the most significant news stories on the local front and internationally. 2GB, Australia's biggest commercial newsroom, takes pride in its product. A wealth of experienced local reporters and widespread news connections around the world. 2GB, always on the scene of the big stories, in force, wherever they break. Terry Galloway, specialist crime reporter, knows Sydney inside out, with 15 years on the beat in this city alone. Innumerable police contacts and other impeccable sources make Galloway the most listened to in his field, not just by the public, but by other media as well.
The blast ripped through the concrete block church just after 10 o'clock this morning as the principal speaker began his address. Members of the congregation say there were 110 people inside the building. One man was killed instantly. 3 others suffered shocking injuries. Another 40 suffered lacerations from the flying debris. 15 suspects were picked up in the initial sweep. Several others have been arrested as the operation continues. The raid is said to be the largest ever conducted in Australian criminal investigation history. Members of the Bandito gang have been taken to Parramatta Police Station, the Comanchero to Liverpool. The Cessna 210 has been destroyed. It lies at the base of a large gum tree in a furrowed paddock on Barry Road. The bodies of the 6 men remain strapped in the aircraft. The pilot hand still clutches the radio microphone. The jury verdict came in just after 3:30, clearing Sergeant Rogerson of the charge of attempting to bribe Detective Mick Drury of the drug squad. The verdict ended 16 hours of waiting for Sergeant Rogerson. Sergeant Rogerson slumped, then straightened and grinned as the verdict was read.
Felicity Moffat, specialist court reporter. Her exhaustive research and an intricate knowledge of the ever-changing legal process provide for exclusive coverage of the most complex court stories. Sometimes others are there, but fail to grasp the relevance.
Justice Lionel Murphy sat solemn-faced behind his counsel as Magistrate Arthur Riedel announced his decision. The magistrate ruled after 7 days of evidence that the High Court judge has a case to answer on 2 charges attempting to pervert the course of justice. Mr. Riedel said the comment, "And what about my little mate?" could reasonably be seen as an attempt to pressure Breeze to do something about the Ryan committal hearing. In response to an invitation to answer the charges, Judge Ford Stood read a brief unsworn statement declaring his innocence. Magistrate Robert Evans then committed him for trial on the charges alleging he tried to influence Chief Magistrate Clary Breeze and District Court Judge Paul Flannery in relation to the prosecution of Morgan Ryan. In passing sentence in the hushed district courtroom, Judge Muir said the evidence had proved Farquhar's conduct outrageous. He said the conviction struck at the heart of justice in New South Wales.
The bikies apparently were armed with baseball bats and guns, and the war broke out here in the car park, littering the car park with bodies. 16 injured, 7 dead, 6 bikies, and one of the dead people is a 14-year-old girl. She was apparently selling raffle tickets in the car park.
All-round Mike Dalton also is hard to keep out of the headlines.
Mr Bell announced that Gary Clark, Father O'Dwyer, Ian Murray and John Goff are now warned off all Australian tracks under the control of the AJC, while bookmakers Bill and Robbie Waterhouse, Robbie Hines and Pete McCoy are to have their licences revoked, as well as being warned off all Australian tracks. Those orders apply immediately. Mike Dalton, Macquarie National News, Randwick.
Just after 12 o'clock this morning, water began to lap at the doors of around 50 terrace houses in Baptist Street, Redfern. Shortly after that, the houses were submerged in 3 feet of water as residents frantically stacked furniture and possessions on tables, sinks, anywhere high enough to escape the flood.
An experienced backup team of reporters adds to 2GB's outside strength. Craig Middleton.
It's the first time an Australian High Court judge has been found guilty of a criminal offence. The guilty verdict has come after 21 and a half hours of deliberation by the jury of 8 women and 4 men. The court was hushed as the foreman stood and replied guilty to the first charge. As the guilty verdict for the Breeze charge was given, an audible murmur passed through the packed courtroom. Justice Murphy sat silently, his wife Ingrid and brother William sitting behind him, showing no emotion. When the foreman of the jury was asked if Murray Frederick Farquhar was guilty or not guilty, the answer came in one word: guilty.
Rod Earl.
One biker said Tony was a little man with all heart, while Robert, he was a good man too, but too young to die. Rod Earl, Macquarie National News, Palmdale.
Steve Pye.
There are power lines coming down as I speak. People are running everywhere now. The There's smoke billowing into the air, sparks flying now from the fire and from the electrical wires. People being pushed back as far as they can go from the fire.
Phil Carey.
There's been a large explosion. A whole section of walls has come down into the street. A lot of power lines have just come down. There are a large number of sparks just opposite where we're at the moment. And I think we're going to have to sign off, mate, because this is just getting too... bloody... The telegraph poles look like coming down. We're going to have to move, mate. We'll get back to you.
Andrew Robertson.
The historic decision has been handed down to a packed Castlereagh Street Court in Sydney. It's the first time in Australian history a High Court judge has been committed for trial on an indictable offence. Magistrate Arthur Rideau said he was satisfied jury properly instructed would accept the evidence of the two chief prosecution witnesses, Mr. Breeze and Judge Flannery.
Overseas, worldwide resources provide on-the-spot coverage of the year's major events. 2GB has its own correspondents filing for Macquarie National News, just a tap-in on another network's correspondence.
Kyle Ramsey, Macquarie National News, Washington.
Chris Gibbons, Macquarie National News, Johannesburg.
Alex Winter, Macquarie National News, London.
Neil Batra from Macquarie National News, New Delhi.
Robert Miller, Macquarie National News, Rome.
Patrick Moser, Macquarie National News, Nairobi.
Richie Benno at Edgbaston for Macquarie National News.
The 2GB News team with exclusive or first-to-air reports on the Murphy verdict, the massive bikie arrest after the Milpera massacre, Murray Farquhar guilty, Roger Rogerson acquitted, and a case to answer against Judge John Ford, to name just a few. 2GB News, the team with the experience, expertise, and strength in numbers. 2GB News Talk 87, entry in the Pater Awards, Category 14B, the best news team.